Did you know a single Roman senator's words could silence an entire empire? Imagine a frail old man, barely able to stand, yet his voice stopped wars, shaped laws, and commanded respect from emperors. How could one elder hold such power in a world of gladiators and conquest? Today, we're diving into the life of Lucius Aelius, a Roman elder whose lessons on discipline and respect still echo through time. Stick with me, because his story reveals secrets you won't find in any history book. Introduction to Lucius Aelius. Picture this: Rome, 150 BCE. The forum is buzzing, merchants haggling, politicians scheming, and soldiers marching. In the middle of this chaos stands Lucius Aelius, a senator in his late 70s. His toga is worn, his face carved with wrinkles, but his eyes burn with a fire that makes even the youngest generals pause. Lucius wasn't born rich or powerful. He was a farmer's son who rose to become Rome's moral compass. Why? Because he mastered two things: discipline and respect. These weren't just virtues to him, they were weapons. What makes Lucius different? Most senators chased glory or gold. Lucius chased something deeper, a code to live by. His story isn't just about ancient Rome, it's about how to live with purpose today. Let's start with his first lesson: discipline isn't about control, it's about freedom. Lesson 1: Discipline as freedom. Lucius once stood before the Senate and said, "A man without discipline is a slave to his whims." That line hit like a thunderbolt. Rome was a city of excess, lavish feasts, brutal games, endless wars. Yet Lucius lived simply. He woke at dawn, trained his body with soldiers, and studied scrolls late into the night. Why? He believed discipline gave him freedom from chaos. Here's the gold: discipline isn't about saying no to fun. It's about saying yes to what matters. Lucius taught that every choice you make either builds your strength or weakens it. Want to know his secret? He had a daily ritual called the Hour of Iron. Every morning, he'd sit alone, no distractions, and ask himself 3 questions. What must I do today? What tempts me to stray? How will I stay true? This wasn't just a habit, it was his anchor. Try this: tomorrow morning, take 10 minutes. No phone, no noise. Ask yourself those 3 questions. Write down your answers. Lucius believed this simple act separated the weak from the strong. Most people drift through life. Lucius steered his like a ship through a storm. And the results? He advised consuls, shaped laws, and never bent to bribes. That's the power of discipline. It's not about restriction, it's about building a life you control. But here's the twist: Lucius didn't just discipline himself. He taught others to do it too. One story stands out. A young senator, Gaius, was spiraling, drinking, gambling, losing his family's respect. Lucius didn't lecture him. Instead, he invited Gaius to his farm. For a week, Gaius worked the fields, ate plain bread, and followed Lucius's routine. By the end, Gaius wasn't just sober, he was reborn. Lucius showed him that discipline isn't punishment, it's transformation. Now, discipline alone doesn't make you a legend. Lucius's real power came from pairing it with respect. Not the fake kind, bowing to emperors or kissing rings. Lucius's respect was raw, real, and rare. Let's dive into his second lesson, but first, imagine this: a Roman elder walking into a room of shouting senators, and with one raised hand, silencing them all. That's what respect looked like. Lesson 2: Respect as strength. Lucius once said, "Respect is not given, it is earned through actions, not words." In Rome, respect was a currency more valuable than gold. Emperors demanded it, Lucius commanded it. How? By living it. He listened to slaves as intently as he listened to consuls. He honored his enemies' courage, even when he disagreed. This wasn't weakness, it was power. Here's a story you won't find in textbooks. In 152 BCE, Rome faced a rebellion in Hispania. The Senate wanted blood, crush the rebels, burn their villages. Lucius disagreed. He traveled to Hispania himself, unarmed, and met the rebel leader, a man named Viriathus. Instead of threats, Lucius listened. He learned the rebels felt cheated by Roman taxes. Lucius didn't just negotiate peace, he earned Viriathus's respect. The rebellion ended without a single sword drawn. That's the kind of respect that changes history. What can we learn? Respect isn't about being nice. It's about seeing people as they are, not as you want them to be. Lucius had a rule: never speak until you've heard. Before every Senate debate, he'd ask his opponent's view first. This wasn't just manners, it was strategy. By understanding others, he could persuade them. Try this in your next argument. Listen first, fully, without planning your comeback. You'll be amazed how it shifts the conversation. Lucius also taught that respect starts with yourself. He'd say, if you don't honor your own word, why should others? He kept every promise, no matter how small. Once, he walked 20 miles in a storm to repay a debt to a merchant. That merchant spread the story, and Lucius's reputation grew. Respect yourself, and others will follow. The climax, Lucius's stand. Now, let's hit the peak of Lucius's story. In 149 BCE, Rome was at a crossroads. A corrupt consul, Marcus Drusus, pushed a law to enrich himself by taxing the poor. The Senate was split, half bribed, half afraid. Lucius, now 80, stood up. His voice was weak, but his words were iron. Rome is not your purse, Marcus. It is our soul. He didn't just argue, he told a story. He spoke of his father, a farmer who lost everything to taxes but never lost his honor. He described children starving while senators feasted. He didn't shout, he painted a picture. The Senate chamber fell silent. Even Drusus couldn't look him in the eye. By the end, the law was dead, and Drusus was shamed. Lucius didn't win by force, he won by discipline and respect. This is the red thread: Lucius's life wasn't about power over others. It was about power over himself. His discipline gave him clarity, his respect gave him influence. Together, they made him unstoppable. Lesson 3: The legacy of small acts. Lucius didn't just change laws, he changed lives. His third lesson: greatness comes from small acts done consistently. He believed every choice, every word, every gesture built your legacy. He'd tell young Romans, plant a seed today, and tomorrow you'll have a forest. One example, Lucius mentored a boy named Titus, a street orphan. He didn't give him gold, he gave him time. He taught Titus to read, to think, to stand tall. Years later, Titus became a general who saved Rome from invasion. That's the power of small acts. Lucius didn't chase fame, he chased impact. Here's the gold for us: start small. Pick one habit, maybe Lucius's hour of iron. Commit to it for 30 days. Or practice respect, listen to someone you disagree with, really listen. These aren't grand gestures, they're seeds. Plant them, and your life will grow. Tying it together, the emotional journey. Let's pull the thread. Lucius's story takes us from a problem, living in a chaotic, selfish world, to a climax, standing for what's right. The solution: discipline and respect. These aren't just Roman virtues, they're human ones. Lucius's life shows us that you don't need wealth or power to make a difference. You need a code. His was simple: control yourself, honor others, act daily. Think about your life. Are you drifting, or are you steering? Lucius's story isn't just history, it's a challenge. What's your hour of iron? Who will you respect even when it's hard? These questions aren't just for senators, they're for us. Closing, the emotional explosion. Let me leave you with one last story. When Lucius died at 83, Rome wept. Not just senators, but farmers, slaves, even former enemies. At his funeral, a young boy stepped forward, clutching a scroll. It was Titus, now a general. He read Lucius's final words: discipline builds your strength. Respect builds your legacy. Live both, and you'll never fade. That's the feeling I want you to hold on to. Lucius Aelius wasn't just a Roman elder, he was proof that one person, armed with discipline and respect, can change the world. So, go out there. Find your hour of iron. Listen before you speak. Plant your seeds. And maybe, just maybe, your story will echo like his. If this moved you, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more stories that light a fire in your soul. Let's keep Lucius's lessons alive. See you in the next one.